There's uncertainty tonight for many people here in the metro who are waiting on a decision from the Supreme Court.
41 Action News anchor Lindsay Shively talked with one Kansas City chef on why he's nervous about the future.
When Pirate's Bone Burgers reopens Saturday, Chef Zaid Consuegra says the dining room will stay closed. The kitchen at the plant-based restaurant has been closed, even for takeout, since March. They had to furlough their staff of 12.
All of these are people with lives, with bills, and you're going to have to be the person who says, sorry, I cannot pay you anymore. And you're let go.
Now he says a Paycheck Protection Program loan will help pay staff. He and his partners hope takeout and delivery can keep the restaurant running. But he says as a DACA recipient, he's not just worried about the business.
And at this point, again, we're waiting for the Supreme Court's rule on it.
The Supreme Court is expected to decide soon whether the Trump administration can end the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. It allows some people brought into the United States as children to avoid deportation and be eligible to work.
A work card is good for 2 years so that they can have employment authorization, they can obtain a Social Security number, and they can obtain driver's licenses. They have a valid ID.
In a December 2019 report, U.S. Citizen and Immigration Services showed almost 650,000 active DACA recipients nationwide and almost 3,500 in the Kansas City area.
It unlocks the door to normality.
Zaid says he lived in Mexico City before he came to the Kansas City area as a child, and he traveled to Washington, D.C. last year, including his story with others sent to the Supreme Court.
If it goes away, if DACA goes away, we don't have any protection. So I will be on the line for deportation, for sure.
Kansas City immigration attorney Michael Sharma Crawford says if DACA ends, he thinks arrests from Immigration and Customs Enforcement would probably come down to a matter of resources.
They don't have time. They don't have time to go find them, so they're going to prioritize them. I think the fear is real. I think strategically, from a resources point of view, you're going to see ICE targeting DACA kids whose work cards have expired, who have removal orders.
An ICE official told us that while they can't speculate about what will happen with DACA, most of their arrests are people in local jails who have already been arrested by local authorities for other crimes. But if DACA is rescinded, then all current DACA holders would be subject to the same enforcement as any other illegally present individual. That ICE official also said that, at least right now, in the midst of the pandemic, ICE is focusing resources only on public safety threats and those who may be subject to mandatory detention, delaying enforcement until after the crisis for others.
I refuse to go back in the shadows. I refuse to go back into being fully undocumented.
Now is the time to talk to competent immigration counsel, understand what avenues lie ahead of you in whatever murky, uncertain future we have. That's my advice.
Zaid now facing an uncertain future for himself and the business he helped start. Lindsay Shively, 41 Action News.